Can't sleep when I lay in bed. Too much thinking in my head. I don't know what to do anymore. But come on now, tell me the score. Is there anything I can do to get out of these tragic blues? I'm a victim of circumstance. I never really had a chance. I lay down and stare at my feet. You know the world has got me beat.
Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today's topic is Teen in Crisis. Here we have on our show today Inez Whitlow and Gloria Benavides. Welcome to our show.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm really excited about this show today because I had a chance to visit you at the ranch, and I was able to see firsthand some of the things that you actually do and some of the things that you do as far as providing services to the teens in the community. So I guess you guys will kind of introduce yourself as far as telling me you got your role and what you do at Chicks in Crisis. Inez?
Well, I am the executive director, founder. I like to call myself the chick in charge. So that's what I run the daily operations, all of the admin. I'm always out looking for money, searching for grants, and just about in the community. And I'm an adoption facilitator.
Okay.
So I do that part with the Chicks in Crisis component. Gloria handles all the parenting aspects of it, and I handle the adoption side of it.
Okay. What is the mission of Chicks in Crisis?
Well, our goal is to reduce the number of babies born to teens by teaching responsible parenting. So our goal really is to eliminate foster care if we can by teaching responsible parenting and just helping them along the way so that they don't in turn have their children placed into the system.
Okay. Why did you start this organization? Like, what motivated you to start the organization?
Well, I was a young teen mom myself, got married in my prom dress at a rec hall, so my dad wasn't too pleased. But I always had a passion to help other girls like myself. You know, I just saw what I went through. Yeah. And I just thought, you know, how terrible. We're not bad people. We just became pregnant. But what society places on us makes us, you know, really bad people. And I'm like, we're not bad, we just had babies. So I just wanted to reach out and help those other girls that were just like me so that they didn't feel ostracized or just feel like they did something so wrong. Because there's a huge guilt that goes with being a young parent. And especially when everybody's staring at you, talking about you, you know, and people are talking about you behind your back. And it really adds up to a whole lot of other issues that can come about that. So I just wanted to create a program. It was really just a passion and a hobby per se. I started in my garage and turned into something pretty amazing.
So how long has Chicks in Crisis been in existence? When did you start it?
I started it in 1997. And like I said, I started in my garage, just helping other people. I'd tell all my friends, don't throw away your clothes, give them to me. I know other people that could use them.
I know when I came out to the ranch, you know, it was really unique, you know. And as you begin to show me around and, you know, kind of talk to me about some of the, you know, things that you do and some of the projects that's coming forth, I really was excited because I thought to myself, man, this service is needed, you know. I thought about how when I grew up, you know, in Chicago, and you know there were different teenage girls that had got pregnant at a young age, and this type of resource was not available to them. This help wasn't available to them, and as you said earlier, a lot of them felt a lot of guilt. They felt ashamed, and you know it was just a mistake they made. You know, and so people looked down on them. They was looked at as being failures, and it really affected them to the point that some of them continued to make poor choices. And you know, if they would have had services like this around that could have actually helped them up and actually motivate them and push them to go forth and be, you know, better people in society or make better choices, I think they would have had a really, really good handle on life. But unfortunately, this type of services wasn't around. So I personally am glad that, you know, this service is here in Sacramento. What other demographics does Chicks in Crisis cover? Is it just for teens in Sacramento County, Placer County, or is it, you know, what other demographics do you guys cover?
Well, we're mostly in Elk Grove, South Sac, Greater Sacramento. I will never turn anybody away who calls me. Have truck will travel. You know, I always feel that if you can call a hotline called Chicks in Crisis, then I need to help you.
Yeah.
Because it took a lot of guts just to pick up that phone and make that call anyway. So we have a 24-hour hotline. It rolls to me every night. And I sit on the phone quite a bit and just talk to young girls who are scared, and a lot of young dads who, what do I do now? You know? So that's, you know, that's the unique part about us. And again, I wish there was somebody like me when I was younger that would have told me it was okay. And those actually were my grandmas and my aunties, you know. So with their wisdom, they would tell me, honey, you're not the first and you won't be the last. So I didn't really kind of understand that until I got a little bit older. And then I was like, oh, that's true. So, but it's how do you come out of that, that whole pregnancy and everybody talking about you, and that's what we motivate our young clients and just tell them it doesn't matter what other people think about you, it's what you think about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I must say that you definitely have the perfect personality to do the stuff that you do. I mean, one of the things I did like about you when I came out there to the ranch is your personality. You know, you can relate, you can reach the population that you're trying to reach, and you know, when you have that type of personality, then people are prone to open up to you and are really, you know, wanting to trust you, that you are willing to really help them and be really sincere about it. So your personality definitely fits your role. You know?
Be careful what you ask God for, as I always tell people, you know, careful what you go there with.
Oh yeah, I understand that. So tell me, what do Chicks in Crisis have to offer the community, the teens in the community? What do you guys have to offer?
Well, what we do is we offer them, say they call, they need a doctor, we can help them get to an OB/GYN or a pediatrician. We can help them establish their Medi-Cal. We have parenting classes. We do the whole gamut of just really what it is. I tell these girls, you're a blown out zipper. You're up here and you blew out down here. So let's back you up and see what happened. And as we back them up, they always have the same issues, whether they've come from, you know, a large family, generational foster care, dysfunctional family dynamics, homelessness, mental health, alcohol, drug issues, not being educated. So, you know, it's always that whole gamut that they do come. So when they come to us, me and Gloria make sure that we give them, you know, we sit them down, we listen to what it is that they want to do and what needs to be done, and then we just help them to make a plan and help them stick to it.
Oh wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Gloria, so you kind of quiet over there. So tell me, what actually brought you to the table? What actually brought you to the organization? What drew you to Chicks in Crisis?
It's like what you mentioned before, her personality.
Yes.
So I've actually been working for Chicks in Crisis for about 6.5 years now.
Oh, nice.
And I've actually known Inez for 15 plus years.
Oh.
And I actually used to work for an OB/GYN, so all her clients that didn't have insurance, that were pregnant, we were able to help them out. What we did at that time was when clients did not, or patients did not have insurance, there was a, which that program is still out, called presumptive eligibility. So if any moms that are currently pregnant, if they need insurance, we could help them out temporarily. So Inez would bring her clients in, and we'd help them out with that temporarily while they were getting their Medi-Cal. So what brought me in was actually she asked me if I wanted to work part-time in the evenings doing some interpreting, and so I did, and I was like, well, why not? And then from there, 3 months later, she offered me a job, and she said, would you like to come work for me? And I was like, well, let me think about it for 3 months. And 3 months later, here I am working, and she's a great boss, great friend. You know, even though I can't relate necessarily on the parenting side because I don't have children of my own, what I can relate to a lot of these girls is the low income side, you know, being poor,
Yes.
knowing that it's hard. And one of the biggest things that our girls face, not just girls, but everyone in general, but in this case with our teen moms or our clients, is being judged by others.
Yes.
So it's hard, and our job is to definitely want to help them out. So I understand, no one wants to be judged. So me helping these girls out is what helps me, work in a program like this. Working with Inez is definitely great because we can relate on a certain level when it comes to helping these young moms, basically. That's definitely our goal, and that's my goal, to help other girls too.
Yeah.
Especially when they're young and they have no idea what to do.
Yeah. I know, growing up, my mom, she was a single mom raising, me and my brothers and my sisters. And it was hard for her.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard for her. She was struggling. And, once again, this type of resource, this type of services was not available to her, And I really, really, really was so impressed when I came out there to the ranch. I, was talking to people at my job about it, and just a few friends about it. And because I could just remember some of these teenage girls, in my neighborhood growing up with babies at such a young age, and they were looked down upon. And it's like, wow, if only they had the chance to really get the help like this that Chicks in Crisis offer. And so so I'm glad that this is really, really in Sacramento County. So hopefully that a lot of teens can really, make better choices, have a brighter future.
Yes.
Per se, because of what you guys are offering in the community. How are you guys funded?
You're looking at her.
Okay.
We do a lot of fundraising and private donations.
Okay.
But the program's gotten bigger than myself and Gloria, so we're constantly looking for more funding opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that's got to be, a challenge, in itself. But hey, things are moving and things are going forth, and
I think the greater part with me and Gloria, we both have been poor, so we're kind of like, no money, it's all good.
We know how to stretch. Yeah,
we know how to stretch
our
things,
pennies.
so we can stretch our pennies, and we always laugh. We probably have $5 in the account, but we act like we got 5 million.
That's
we
right.
Roll in there, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yes, and I'm sure the clients really appreciate, everything that's being offered to them from Chicks in Crisis.
They do. It's when they cry and tell us thank you. You have no idea what this means to us.
Yeah.
And that's when you're doing what the right thing to do is. And we get all of our donations from our community. So it's clothes, gently used clothes, and just different hygiene, the diapers, and it makes such a difference in our life. It's like, do you go between the food and the diapers? And that's what we really see a lot of. We give out a lot of diapers and formula because what we have found was they dilute their formula to make it last, and then they shake out their diapers and lay them out to dry to reuse them. And all that just does is create more health issues.
Yes.
And those poor babies didn't ask for that, so we make sure that they always have diapers and formula.
So why do you guys offer your services for free? I'm just curious. Like, why?
Because nobody would pay for them. Our clientele, they wanted to do a bake sale with our clients, and I'm like, our clients are poor.
Yeah.
They're not coming. They'll be taking your cupcakes. They're not going to buy them. We got to rethink this. No.
Yeah.
And again, when you're poor, it's already bad enough. So if we can help them in a way that makes them feel better about themselves, in return it helps them be a better parent.
Yes.
And so if you were to start charging for everything that we do, we wouldn't have any clientele, we wouldn't have a business, we wouldn't have something to do. And really, Chicks in Crisis is really out of the heart. I just want to help somebody. It's not about going out making money. It's about making somebody's life a little bit easier and making sure that mom's going to be able to have the diapers, the wipes, the formula, the clothing for that child. It's not about us.
And it's very rewarding, too, to work with a program like that, because we're able to make a difference in someone's life, even if it's something small that maybe others have at easy access. Some of these clients don't even have that. For example, our teen moms, they might not have one diaper, and if we're able to help them out with even 20 diapers, maybe 30, maybe more, then we can definitely help them out with that. Help them to move forward if they need that support from us, even if it's something small like that. Then we can definitely help them out.
And they're grateful.
Yeah.
That's the better part about it. They're so grateful to us. They're like, you have no idea. And we just hug them and say, yeah, we do.
Yes.
And, they'll say, how do I ever repay you? Well, you don't repay us. You pay it forward. So when you see somebody else when you're on your feet, you help them. And that's when we have a diaper drive. I don't care, the big business, somebody can come in with 20 boxes of diapers. But when I see one of my teen moms rolling up with her baby in a stroller and giving me a pack of diapers, that's where wow.
Yes.
That bag of diapers meant more than anything, because I already know she didn't have money to buy me diapers, but she felt so much gratitude and so grateful that she wanted to give back.
Yes.
And that right there, those diapers mean more to me than anything.
Yes. I know when I came out there to the ranch, you kind of showed me the room where there was a lot of diapers and just a lot of formula, and it was really, really, really amazing to see that just being displayed, and it's kind of like when the person need that, you guys have it right on hand, and so that in itself is really, it could be a miracle in somebody's life,
But usually we are the last stop for anybody. So that's the like I say, it's so much gratitude and gratification that you can say, sweetie, don't worry about it. We got you covered right here until you can get to your WIC appointment.
Yeah.
Or go, get some money to buy more diapers or something.
Yeah. And when you hear them telling you thank you like 20 times, and it's like, wow, I was able to help that person out, that really makes a difference.
Yeah.
And the cooler part, they send us thank you notes.
That's awesome.
So when you get a thank you note from somebody who says, you have no idea what you helped me with, I'm forever grateful.
That's awesome.
Those are the ones that you're like, okay, so we might not have a lot of money, but we have a lot of love and a lot of gratitude, and that's more than anything you could ever ask for.
Yeah. I'm curious to know a more in-depth success story, because it really sounds like, and I think you was kind of sharing something with me about this at the ranch. Like, how do you reach teens in schools, and do you guys reach them in schools? Do you help them, with their education, or how does that work into you guys' services that you provide?
Well, about 10 years ago, SAVA, it's a charter school here in town, we noticed that there was a lot more pregnant and parenting teens, because what happens when you're in traditional school and you become pregnant, they don't want you there. So they kind of shoo you away. So we just had all of these pregnant or parenting teens, and they were not being educated. So SAVA, there was a teacher over there, we sat down and we created our teen mom program. Wow. And we had, I think our first class had over 35 teen moms and their kids in there.
Wow.
And at that point, we knew we were onto something, like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
And the better part was the teacher would say, they really are coming to school for your program.
Wow.
They're coming here because you bring them free stuff. They'd tell me I spoil them too much.
Yeah.
How do you spoil somebody too much? These are all things people gave us for free.
Yeah.
So we would set out, we had beautiful clothes, purses, shoes, and so we would just set it all out for them, and then after class, we'd let them go shopping.
Yeah.
And then they would tell a friend, oh man, you got to come with me. They give you really nice clothes, And so as that kept going, we just got asked to be in more charter schools.
Wow.
And most of our work is by word of mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. I don't have money for advertising, okay? So we're not going to be advertising much, but it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
You help my friend, you help my cousin, you help my sister.
Wow.
And it just keeps, going. CPS is a good referral to us. We work with the FBI.
Nice.
We get a lot of girls who are sex trafficked, and they're either pregnant or parenting. And when they get pulled off the streets, they don't have much, so they're able to call us. And Gloria will set them up with everything they need and be able to take care of them.
Wow.
And so for a little bit more about the SAVA schools, it stands for the Sacramento Academic Vocational Academy. So they are independent charter schools, so they are more flexible for the girls. So unlike a traditional school where they have to be there Monday through Friday from, let's say, from 8 to 3:30, I'd say, I'm just guessing time. They don't have to be there every day, so they're there maybe 3 to 4 days out of the week. It's more flexible. They're maybe there for about 3 to 4 hours. We're actually at the schools once a month, or I'm at the schools once a month with our student nurses. So we are partnered up with nursing schools, 8 nursing schools, and these student nurses are the ones that teach the parenting classes directly at the schools that we work with. So depending on the topic, whether it's on health, nutrition, STIs, breastfeeding, just depending on what the topic of the day is, and we'll go in there and then we'll make sure to teach those parenting classes, or any questions or concerns that girls might have during their pregnancy as well. We can also answer those questions for them too. So we're just sure we're prepared ahead of time, so that way we can definitely answer the questions for them.
Yeah, and I think that's so important too, because what I'm hearing you say, your organization do, as you go into the schools and you educate them about things that they need to be educated about. Because I am a firm believer that people who are educated about certain issues, or just educated in general, they tend to do better.
Yes.
They tend to make better choices. They tend to not, fall through the cracks. And then when they make a mistake, they tend to pull themselves back up and move forward. And so a lot of times when people are not educated about these issues or topics, then they tend to fall down and make bad choices, so to speak. I think once the information is implanted into their mind, and when they're faced with a bad decision, I think that will start to rehearse in their mind and cause them to say, no, this is not for me. No, I don't want to go down that road. I want something better for myself. So I really, once again, applaud, Chicks in Crisis for the services that's being provided. So I have to ask you this.
Okay.
What is it that you guys provide for the men? So, because I hear you guys say, you provide services for the women, and so what about the men? How do they benefit from Chicks in Crisis?
Well, they get the same services. We just curtail it to their needs.
Okay.
So Gloria's looking at, we got some new, what are we going to call those?
Like,
tool bags coming
tool
in.
daddy kits for dad.
Yeah.
I love it.
But, we have a lot more young men who want to be a part of their kid's life. And they'll say, I grew up without a dad. And I didn't like it, and I don't want my child to. So I think the other greater part that we do is we maintain family size.
Yes.
Quit having babies you can't take care of. All you're doing is just putting yourself deeper in a hole, and you're now at risk of losing all your kids. And when we see that, we see them mentally go downhill. So that's what we try to avoid, that mentality, because when CPS takes your child from you, whatever part of life you are, if you were 20 years old or 15, that's where you stay. You grow, but you're dead back there. And we see that. So how do you teach them to maintain their family size so that they don't continue to repeat those generational pitfalls, really? Because we know that if you're foster care and you have a baby, you're in the high 90s to lose your baby to that system.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be transparent here.
Is that yours?
This past summer, I ended up connected with my father. I haven't seen him in a while, and he wasn't really in our lives. And so that did affect me growing up as, a young man. And so when I did see him, because I surprised him and I, went and saw him, he was very remorseful for being absent in my life, and he was crying, and, it was a very emotional moment. And one of the things that he said was, I didn't have a dad I didn't know how to be a good father to you and your brothers and sisters. So, like you said, it is a cycle. You know, when people are in that mode, if they're not being taught, if they're not being trained or educated, it is a cycle, you know. And I have people now that in my family who didn't grow up with a dad, and now they're repeating that same cycle. They're a dad now, and they're still doing the things that being absent because their dad was absent. They don't know.
They don't have a role model.
Exactly.
And that's what we really try to teach our dads is, you know, what kind of a dad do you want to be?
Yeah.
You know, what didn't you like about your dad not being a part of your life?
Yeah.
Now let's not repeat this cycle with your child.
Yeah.
And we get some great dads out there, and they're just wanting to learn. How do you do this?
Yeah.
What's that? What is this? What is
Yeah.
that? How do you make this baby stop crying?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's great to see them, because when you see the love in their eyes that they have for their child, it's just so heartwarming, and you just know that, wow.
Yes.
You know, and we just encourage them. I call them my dudes in despair.
I like
my
that.
dids.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I said, come on, you know, let us teach you how to be a great dad. And to see them, then they understand really the dynamics that a mom goes through.
Yes.
And they really start to work together. What I tell them, we're responsible parenting here. So that just means you two might not love each other no more, but you will like each other.
Yeah.
Because this child needs two parents, and you need to put your differences to the side. So we do a lot of relationship counseling on that as well.
Awesome.
And then what we find with that is then they're making decisions together. We're staying out of court, because I tell them, do you want to go to court and have a judge who's never been in your life, has no idea about neither of you, telling you how to parent?
Yes.
No, you don't. You don't
Yeah.
want to bring other people in when you can make this decision between the two of you. And if you get fighting too much, you both are going to lose.
Yeah.
So now you have your child's in that system. And that's the one place we didn't want your baby to go to.
Yeah.
So now guess what? Because you two are fighting over his new girlfriend, your new boyfriend, you know, you're creating a whole nother problem. Now it's your child, once again, is in the middle of this and is not getting the adequate care this child should be getting. So how do we eliminate all that? Well, I'm a paralegal. I
Yeah.
tell them I will go to court with you, but I will not take a baby away from anybody.
Yeah.
We will learn to parent together, because your child needs two parents. I don't care what you say. I was raised with two parents. My parents, I call them Ward and June Cleaver. You know, I mean, they're the coolest people ever. And then I see these kids who have no parents in their dysfunctionality. And it's really sad. You know, I couldn't imagine my life without my mom and dad. Sometimes they get on my nerves, love them to death. But I was never raised, I was never spanked. We were never abused. I
Yeah.
never knew that. My mom, this is how cool this woman is, would get up every morning and we would have a full-blown breakfast waiting for us. Our towels, if it was cold, were warm from the dryer, as well as our clothes we would wear. Then we would go have breakfast. She would drive us to school, made us cute little lunches, pick us up, come home, and we had a nice snack. And she made cookies, a cake, or something, a pie. And then we did homework, and then we had this really beautiful dinner, and then we just rolled into the nighttime. And I really thought everybody had that. And when I got out in the real world, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I could not believe how blessed I was.
Yeah.
And how just other people had to survive just to get a hot meal, to have clean clothes. And so Chicks in Crisis really, how do I fill that void for some people that never ever had that? And to teach you that it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's really the love you have in your heart, that you love your child enough to put your other differences to the side and raise that person, because that kid's your job. You know,
Yes.
and if we don't do it right the first 5 years of their life, it's over. You know, now we have all these other behavioral issues that we roll into, and we see it quite a bit with our young clients. You know, they just have babies back to back to back, so nobody gets any attention, nobody gets what they need, because everybody's in such constant turmoil trying to make ends meet, and nobody meets.
Yeah.
So
And that kind of goes along with the next question I want to ask. Why do you think mental health is really important for the clients that you serve?
Oh, my goodness. We see them go into almost a psychosis, because once you're poor, you're homeless, you beat down, you have a child, We have a lot of our clients, methamphetamines, really, meth, mollies, ecstasy, and they all think it's fun. And it's like, that is not fun, you know, and that causes more of a problem than anything. And then they get homeless. And then from being homeless, that already wrecks on your emotional being, and it just takes it downhill, because now you're using more drugs, you're drinking more alcohol, you just keep going in that downward spiral until you just feel so hopeless that you don't know what to do. And then bam, I'm pregnant. Now what do we do? And so we get some girls who kind of take that, and that's going to be their savior. It's like, you can't have your baby be your savior. That is not how that works. Your baby can't be a paycheck, and your baby is not here to save you. And that baby's going to take you down quicker than anything, especially because right here you don't have a relationship with the father, or we might not even know who the father is. So we just see that mental health, and then again, society looking at you, you know, they'll tell you, oh, people walk by and talk all the time about us. Yeah, they are. So how do we combat that? You be a good mom, keep your baby clean, keep you clean, and just keep going to school and getting educated, so that you can in turn teach your child. So now we're not having those mental health issues that are going to keep rolling downhill, you know, generation to generation. But we see it. I've been doing this 19 years on my adoption side, and I have probably 8 or 9 homeless clients right now, and they've been in and out of jail. A lot of them will, like right now, I'll start getting phone calls because they'll go re-violate or get in trouble to go to jail. So that gives them 3 meals a day, a cot, you know, and somewhere just to lay their head. And they try to get them into mental health. Well, guess what? There's not a lot of room in mental health. There's not enough to go around. And so what they end up doing, they kick them back out, and they're back on the streets, and they're down here under the bridges, and it just starts the whole psychosis again. And the mental health part of it, it's the saddest part of it, because it could have been eliminated if somebody would have taken the time in the very beginning. And we listen to our clients, and a majority of them have been physically, sexually, emotionally, verbally abused. And it just gets worse. And so after you've been beaten down by that, by just people telling you how worthless you are, you know, just you're a waste of breath, you're just a waste of air. You know, why are you having a baby? Why this? Why that? You know, you just start reclusing back, and then you just mentally, they lose it, you know. And I just have one of my girls, and I just love her to death, but my gosh, I try all the time to get her into a facility, and she's like, I don't want to be caged up. I can't be in one of those places. I just can't do it. It's like, but sweetie, that's the only way. And she goes, no, it's not the only way. They took away all my kids.
Wow.
I don't have anything to live for. And so mentally, that just beats you up. And it's just, it's a cycle.
And the other important thing about mental health is the fact that, like, for example, with our teen moms, and not just our teen moms, but others as well, depression and postpartum depression is one of the biggest things. And not everybody actually talks about it. You know, it's something maybe to be possibly shameful about. And with our teen moms, we need to make sure we get their attention, because we can lose our teen moms' attention easily, because even though they're moms, they're still teenagers at the end of the day. And to, like, for example, a couple of months ago, I know we had a talk about depression and postpartum depression. So I was like, I told our student nurses, I was like, I really need to get their attention. I don't want to lose their attention, especially when it comes to postpartum depression. And so what I did was, all right, let me figure something out. So what I did was I had to make a PowerPoint presentation. And in that PowerPoint presentation, I was like, I need celebrities in there. I need pictures of celebrities. The reason why is because these are people that these teenagers look up to. So my first person was Robin Williams. He had money, and guess what? He also suffered from depression. We had people like Angelina Jolie, that suffered from postpartum depression. And even though she was voted, I think, the sexiest woman alive in the world, she still suffered from depression. So it can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter where you come from. You still can suffer from that. So it's important that they're aware of that, you know, and they're aware of the resources that are available. And if they don't know where to go, then they can definitely contact us, and we can definitely help them out with that.
You know, and that's very true. I know for myself, as I was talking earlier about not really having my dad really in my life growing up, I also, you know, suffered from depression. That was something that growing up as an African American in our community, it was frowned upon, you know, the stigma attached to it. But inwardly, I was very depressed because I didn't understand, like, why
didn't you want me?
Yeah, why didn't he want me? I had, as a young man, I had questions, and I'm starting to like girls now, and you know, where is he at? And you know, and my role model was the guys in the street, you know, so I can understand why some of the teens have that mentality, you know, and you know, some of them probably having parents or things going on within the home that they're ashamed to discuss outside of the home, which causes that depression and sometimes lead them to make poor choices.
Yes, exactly. And I can totally relate because my mom was a single mother as well, and I didn't have a dad either. He died, I think maybe I was about 9 or 10. And just her playing the role of mother and father, you know, told us, make sure your education is always priority, priority, priority. So yeah, that definitely, it does have a big toll on you. You can become depressed. You might have anger issues. So I suffered from depression too, questioning the same thing. Why was my father not here for us? You know, but at the end of the day, you still have to make a difference and say, even if my father wasn't here, I got to move on. You know, if I have a baby now, I got to make the best for this child, definitely.
Yes, yes, very important. Do you think that, because I know sometimes when people are so used to being in a certain lifestyle, meaning that they're so used to not having things go good for them, and when they finally get something that works to their advantage and you know, that's for their benefit, do you find that they reject it? Sometimes, have you ever found girls or guys that reject your services because they're so used to not having anybody that really care about them?
They'll tell you that.
That might be possible because they feel like it's too good to be true. Like, no way.
I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
We will have girls, I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Or we see them self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So when we get them going really great, you know, it's like, okay, there's no ripples in the water. We're doing good. They get so freaked out that they actually will cause something to happen so that we have a little bit more drama, or it causes them to be on high alert again. And it's almost where it's in the mentality of that, you know, because they don't feel they're worthy of anything. Why am I getting this? I'm a bad person. I don't deserve this.
Yeah, they'll even question it, like, why do you want to help me for?
Yeah. What do you want from me? It's like, we don't want nothing from you, sweetie. We just want you to be a really great mom.
Yeah. What are the steps that Chicks in Crisis are taking to address the issues facing teen parents coming from dysfunctional families or even foster care? So
we definitely want to make sure that we grab these girls' attention. So our biggest focus for our teenage moms is we want to make sure they graduate high school. So that's when our or like, for example, our Amber's clothes closet. If they need items from our clothes closet, like diapers, wipes, formula, baby food, and stuff of that sort, we make sure we come in there once a month. We let them know, hey, we're offering these free parenting classes, and this is what these are the incentives that we give, so we can provide diapers, wipes, formula, and all we ask from them is, hey, all you have to do is stay in school, graduate, maintain family size, no more babies. Think about babies later, but at this moment, you definitely need to focus on your education, not just graduating from high school, but also going on to some type of city college. So that's definitely our goal. We want to make sure, because what happens is most of the time when they do become pregnant at such a young age, for them, they feel like it's the end of the world for them. They're just moms. Their job is to take care of their babies. Well, or they think, well, now that I have a baby, I can't afford to stay in school and have a job and still provide diapers. So our job is making sure each time that we come in, I always make sure to ask them, so we're graduating, right? They say yes. So we're going to continue on, and we're going to college after this? Yes. No more babies, right? No more babies. So we make sure that we help them out. If they need those services from us, like the diapers, we can definitely help them out with that. But the focus is no more babies and staying in school.
I'm getting excited. I'll be honest with you, because what you're doing, you're retraining training their thinking.
Yes.
Even if they were thinking that, you're coming into the school system and talking to them, you're giving them that advantage to think that, okay, you may have been thinking this yesterday, but today it's possible.
Yes.
It's possible that you can go to school and get a higher education
Right.
and become successful, and not let the mistake you made keep you bound, so to speak.
Definitely. And you know, the
Yeah.
other exciting thing about that is the fact that they actually listen. Even though we might think that teenagers might not always necessarily listen to us, they
Yeah.
do. As a matter of fact, I have an example. This was last year. This one young lady had her baby. I'm kind of nosy, kind of want to see how they're at in their life, how they're doing, if they finished school, if they didn't. And I asked her, I was like, so how's it going? Did you finish high school? Stuff of that sort. And she's like, well, no. I go, well, why didn't you finish high school? She goes, well, because I had the baby and I haven't gone back to school. And I was like, okay. So I gave her all these options to these schools. I made sure to take her information down, her phone number and email. And I was like, well, I'll get back with you, and I'll also see about other schools that are available to in your area. And she's like, okay. So I try to get a hold of her for like 3 months. I tried contacting her previous teacher. I tried contact through other programs, and I had no luck. And I thought, oh no, there's no way she's gonna go back to school. And to my surprise, 3 months later, I'm at this parenting class, introducing myself, telling the teenage moms about the program, who I am, and the services that we provide. And this young lady walks in about 5 to 10 minutes late. And so she looks at me and she goes, do you remember me? I go, how could I not? I go, you listened and you're here now.
Wow.
So she is going to graduate actually in December. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
very proud of her.
That's awesome.
And we celebrate with them. That's the other part that we find mental health wise. Celebrating their milestones. You know, a lot of our girls don't get birthday parties. They don't get, nobody ever acknowledges anything. The only time we acknowledge anything is when you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So we want to always acknowledge what you're doing right. And so we were really excited this last year. We graduated 15 of our senior moms.
That's awesome.
So they all got a high school diploma, did not repeat a second pregnancy, and they all are enrolled in attending a secondary education right now.
That's awesome.
And they feel like they're on top of the world.
That's awesome.
And a lot of them are the first ones to graduate from their family, let alone go on to a secondary education. And they're not repeating their second pregnancy. They're like, I don't want to have another baby. I need to work on me and this child. And so that's when I know we've gotten into their head, because it's like, yes,
That's
you
awesome.
can do this.
Yeah.
And then they come back, and what I love about our program, they come back and they volunteer. They bring their friends. They're our biggest form of advertising, because they'll be like, well, you know what? They helped me out, and I'm sure they can help you out.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, absolutely, sweetie, what's going on? What
Yeah.
what can we help you with?
Yeah.
And then they're always, you guys are so nice. And we're like, we're cool chicks, you know? We're the coolest chicks you're ever going to meet. And we're here for you, but we're also going to be holding you accountable.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're going to love it. And they do, and they want to come back. We just recently, last week, had a goal setting class. We had 13 girls in there with their babies.
Awesome.
And we had the babies outside, mamas were inside, and peek in, and they were so attentive on listening to our speaker talk that I was shocked that they were that into, and they were asking questions. And 2 of them have interviews because they speak Spanish. And another one of our girls is coming in. She wants to be a loan officer. So just by inspiring them on that level, again, it makes us feel good, because they're listening and they're asking us, so when's your next class?
Yeah.
And so that's how, again, we know it works, is when they're bringing in friends, they're talking about when's your next class, how can I get that, Inez? And again, talk to Gloria. She'll be the one that helps you out there, you know, and we can make this work together. But we are going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, that's right. And
I
that's
tell
how
them,
it
I got a
should be.
size 9, sister. And they love it, because, you know, again, we love on them no matter what. I tell them, you know, life's always going to be hard, but it's how do you roll out of this? And they said, we're all surfers, so just ride the wave, and we'll get through it. And they're like, Inez, I'm like, no, serious, it'll be okay. And then when they go through it and they're standing on the other side, they're like, oh my gosh, it did work. And the other part is we didn't leave them. Because a lot of them, people leave them in their life. And unfortunately, we just add a whole nother level to their mental health, you know, part of it.
So how long can your clients receive services from Chicks in Crisis?
Well, we go up to a 5T. you know. So as long as your baby's between newborn and 5T, that's always great. But then you're in my program for life. I tell them, you got to get rid of me. I'm not going to get rid of you. You get rid of me.
Yeah.
And so that's the other, like I said, they come back and then they bring their friends, or they just always like to check in with us and say, hey, look where I'm at. And again, we celebrate them. People give us gift cards, so to be like, you know what, sweetie, head to Starbucks. I'm so proud of you. And they're like, oh, okay. Or here's your $25 Visa card. Go shopping. Go to Safeway. Do what you need to do. And like I said, we do baby them a lot. I mean, only because they don't get those kind of things. And I see it's beneficial to us. So like Mary Kay representatives, we have a lot of people that bring us makeup. So when we set this makeup out on the table, oh my gosh, they start squealing and giggling and they become little kids again.
Yeah.
And that's what we love. Bring it down. Quit being so stressed all the time. Being a mom is a tough job, but every now and then you got to break loose and just laugh.
Yeah.
And just enjoy yourself. So like I said, we like to celebrate them. We're going to be doing a really nice Christmas party again for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I last year, our biggest thing was we got them those 3D eyelash stuff. Oh my gosh, they couldn't stop squealing, and they care less about all the other stuff we got them. It was those eyelashes. You know, oh my gosh, look at these. Oh my God, this is $40, you know. And that $40 to them was like $400. And they were just shocked that they all got one. Not just one person. And we gave them gift cards. We gave their babies gifts. You know, they were just so, they left and they were so giddy and just so excited. Like, oh my gosh. So we get pictures of their kids, because I like to buy cute dresses for my baby girls, you know, hook them all up and get really cute pictures and say, oh, look at her. And it's like, oh, you know. But to see them just enjoy parenting. Because they don't enjoy a whole lot, you know. So I always tell them, being pregnant is probably the best part of being a mom right now that you're ever going to experience. And then we find once those babies get to about 6, 7, 8, 9 months old, and they're pushing away from them and they're touching stuff, they're crawling, that's when we see a lot of problems. So that's where we really try to get more into their head and their life and be like, okay, let's teach you how do you maintain and handle that? How do you diffuse your anger when that baby's being all over the place?
Because sometimes, you know, it seems like they still want to be teens, but they're forced to be an adult because of the responsibility that they have. And so that's why I think a lot of times when you guys have the gift cards and give it to them to go out or have the makeup, you know, it gives them a chance to feel appreciated, give them a chance to feel loved, because a lot of them probably have not felt that love or felt somebody, you know, really showing them this type of attention, and to show them that I really care about you. They could get that in the streets, but the wrong way.
Yes,
exactly.
That's unfortunately what happens. Yeah, definitely.
We see a lot of that.
And it's true, they are, at the end of the day, they are teenagers. Even though they are teen moms, they are teenagers. So just the fact that, like, for example, the 3D fiber lashes, they were excited about that. And I always explain to them, or I tell them, there is no perfect parent. I don't care what age. It's still a learning process. You know, I tell them it's hard because now you have to learn how to manage doing your homework and your baby. How do you learn to balance it out? And we're here to help you out to balance that out however we can. But it is, at the end of the day, they are teenagers, and we definitely want to help them feel extra special too at the same time, but they definitely be held accountable. There's choice with every choice that they make. There's always a consequence.
Wow. So where can, if someone was watching this program, if it was a teen, if they wanted to receive service from Chicks in Crisis, where do they go to, and how could they, you know, get a hold of, you know, either one of you to get some type of services?
211's our best option, I think, out there right now. 211's amazing.
Okay.
So they contact us, and you can call 211 and say, hey, I need diapers, I need this, and they'll say, call Chicks in Crisis. Here's the number. You can go to our website. You can always go to our Facebook page. Anywhere, you know, get a hold of us, you'll get me or Gloria, because we're always the only two on. We don't let other people take our phones.
Yeah, okay.
So me and Gloria, we're the one. I mean, it probably kind of sounds a little bossy or pushy.
No,
but we want to make sure when those phone calls come in that immediately they're helped. And it's not somebody, well, I'll take a message and get back with you.
Yeah.
It's me or Gloria. We're on it. So she runs the phones from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then I get them from 4 p.m. to 10 a.m.
So,
I know what you're saying is true, because each time I call, somebody always answers the phone, which is really, really good. So that lets me know that, you guys are on it, so to speak. So if somebody called, if a teenager's in crisis, they can get through.
Yes, definitely.
And just talk to us, we always tell them, we're not going to tell anybody your story.
Yeah.
We don't use your name. What can we help you with? What do you need some help with right now?
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the ranch. Let's talk about the ranch.
So about 12 years ago, well, I'm a country girl. I thought everybody had waders in the 22 growing up and went duck hunting, and obviously they don't.
Yeah.
And so just seeing how these young kids, everybody's so city-tized, I like to call it, the asphalt jungle, I guess you can call it. And I just always thought, man, if you could play in the dirt like I did when I was little, we Cowboys, Indians, we fished, we just did all this fun stuff in the dirt and had fun. We watched food grow. How fun would that be?
Yeah.
So about 12 years ago, I said, you know what, God? I need a ranch on a bus line. Hook a sister up. And I just threw it up there, and everybody laughed and said, well, Inez, you're such a dreamer. There are no ranches on a bus line. I'm like, whatever, mind your own business. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, there's a ranch on a bus line, and it hadn't been lived in forever. So it had overgrown, and people just tossed all kinds of junk on it.
Yeah.
So I'm standing at the gate, and all I see is, oh, my vision, I can see it. And then my board is looking at me, and they're all, what are you thinking? I'm like, oh, no. They're like, are you kidding, Inez? And I'm like, no, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
So it's literally the last 2.5 acres in Elk Grove.
Okay.
I'm on East Stockton Boulevard. I have a bus stop in front of me and on the side of me. And I was like, careful what you wish for. And yes, I got that. And so the ranch is just a whole concept of bringing these kids in and letting them just play, have fun, chase a squirrel. I mean, that's what they get out there and they have the best time, the chickens, and just let it off. Just be a kid.
Yeah.
Be a kid. And so the ranch to me is, when I retire one day, when me and G are done, I need to hand those keys to my girls who have been working for me and have been in my program.
Yes.
So I've been doing this 19 years. I have women who have been in prison. Well, guess what? When you have a felony, you're not going too far.
Yeah.
So I tell them, honey, you go to school. The only thing nobody can ever take away from you is your education and your knowledge. So go to school, because when I'm ready to tap out, I'm going to hand you the keys.
Yeah.
And I need you then to take over and keep this going. I want to eliminate foster care.
Yeah.
I despise that system. Hopefully one day that'd be my little side job. But I hate how they have literally destroyed hundreds of thousands of children that are now young adults who are incarcerated. And, I tell my young girls, being a teen mom, in foster care, you're going to become institutionalized if you do not change your ways. And that means, foster care, juvenile hall, county jail, state and federal prisons. So how do we help you? So go to school, get educated, so you can come back and you're going to run this. Because someday I want to take a nap. I haven't had a nap since I was 17. I am tired. I've been a mom for a long time. And so the whole ranch concept really is, how do you create something to leave your legacy and eliminate the system, but also help young parents know that you're not the first, you won't be the last, and it's how do you roll out of this? And again, you can do this. So the ranch has encompassed that whole thing. So we're getting ready, with the grace of God, to break ground in June of next year for our buildings and our housing out there. So we just finished our healing garden, which I've always wanted a healing garden. So when I had a leadership group come to me, they're like, hey, we're looking for some projects. I'm like, well, here's 3. And they're like, whoa, lady. And I'm like, it's what I need. So they picked the healing garden, and we got an architect, a landscape architect, and I told him what I was looking for, and he created it. And so we'll actually have a ribbon cutting here on November 17th.
Oh, nice.
So that is huge to me, because you just go out there, I don't care how bad of a day you've had, you walk out of there smiling. And that's what we need to do. How do we get you to a mental state that you're not in such fight or flight, and we bring you back down so that we can think properly and clearly and make better choices and decisions. And that's what that healing guard represents. And so the whole ranch concept, these kids get out there, they have fun. Those moms get out there, they have fun. They're like, my kids never had this much fun. I'm like, what, throwing rocks? Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
Playing in dirt, you know, getting chased by a rooster, you know. We have a mean little rooster. Or going out and feeding the chickens.
Yeah.
It just really, it brings down that stress level. So now that we have that stress level down, now we can talk to you. And really figure out what's going on, sweetie. What's going on? How can we help you? And then, you know, all of a sudden they go from being tough or in a panic to tears. And then we have a trauma psychologist. And Jennifer's amazing with our girls. These girls leave and they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have come to you guys earlier. And so we see the trauma that comes with being a teen mom, you know, because you're going to be traumatized. I mean, it's not fun. I don't care what teen mom says on TV. I tell them, you see 15 minutes of their life. That rest of their time, they're off the chart. They're not having fun. And you look at the first year of the cast that was on Teen Mom. They're all divorced, have another kid in prison. I mean, I tell them that's not what you want to do. And we'll actually get girls who call and say, hey, I'm a teen mom, have a really messed up life. Can you get me on Teen Mom? You know? No, that's not what we're here for. But the ranch just has, when you come off the street, you're in the country. And that's what people say. Who'd have ever thought there was a ranch right here? Right? Well, I did. And that's where it's at. So we love our ranch.
And thank you guys for sharing it. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I really, really, really enjoyed our show together today. And that is it for today's edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed our show today, please give me a call at 916-366-4600. Thank you.
Trying to stand tall, I'm haunted by the past. With my back against that wall, one thing is clear at last. The kind of love you show to me flows from an endless stream. With shores so wide it won't subside, my mind had never dreamed how I'm not alone, even when I'm on my own. Your gentle touch is much too much to let me roll. So even when the storm is strong and I'm deaf to my own cry, I faintly hear a distant song and I simply can't deny how I'm not alone. 10,000 times I've known my best bet is that first step for home. When I think of where I've been, the good times and the bad, on a scale of